call, please.
Blasey.
Here.
Derlin.
Here.
Fitzgerald.
Here.
Canella. Here. Hoover. Here. Jordan. Here. Oh. Stockdale.
Here.
Nolan.
Here.
Reese.
Here.
Ryan. Preston.
Minutes of the regular meeting held April 21st, 2026 are attached. The secretary recommends that these minutes be approved as presented. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are now going to go to, is there a student report tonight? Okay, go ahead.
So our student isn't able to be here tonight, but we have a report. Hello, here is the student board report for tonight. I would like to start with spring sports. Varsity baseball has come to an end, and the team finished with a record of 2 wins and 17 losses. As for varsity softball, the girls made their way to districts, finishing with a record of 10 wins and 9 losses. They lost a hard-fought 7-10 district semifinal game to Bucktail. Congratulations to both teams for all their hard work. Both junior high girls and boys soccer team seasons have come to an end. The boys ended their season with a record of 5-9, and the girls ended their season with a record of 6-7-2. Great job to both teams. This year, our track and field team became an official sport, and our student athletes did very well. Many of them qualified for the district meet. Placing at districts were Tucker Blasey, who earned a 4th place medal in the 200 meter, just missing an opportunity to compete in the state competition, and an 8th place medal in the long jump. Addie Temple placed 6th in both the 200 meter and 400 meter races. The team finished this season strong with many personal bests. The art show was held on May 7th, and the results were as follows. Choice of show went to Elise Bahinsky. First place for their displays and total art collection was Elise Bahinsky. Second place, Grace Selowitz. Third place, Landon Baird. Fourth place, Gabby Evans. Fifth place, Eva Fresno. Sixth place, Quinn Canella. Seventh place, Bethany Everlin. Eighth place, Cammie Whipple. Ninth place, Kara Hottenstein. 10th place, Ruby Malcolmes. And Jessica Marino also won the Wildlife Award for her seal picture. Congratulations to everyone for their amazing artwork. In addition to the art awards, there were Tech Ed awards. The following students earned first place awards for their craftsmanship. 9th grade Best Craftsmanship was Marshall Strain. Best Fabrication went to Colin King. Most Artistic or Creative was Jessamine McCarty. Best Furniture was Ryan Murray. Best Sign went to Caden Smith Coors, Aiden Sperry, Landon Bear, and Colin King. And Best Craftsmanship went to Braden Fitzgerald, and Best Restoration, Kurt Shuck. Those attending the Festival of the Arts also got to enjoy musical selections by the elementary and high school band and chorus. The top Envirothon team from Sullivan and Lycoming counties attended the state Envirothon competition on May 20th. Those attending were Ryan Murray, Lily McCarty, Grace Selowitz, Kira Hottenstein, and Tucker Blasey. Prom was held on May 16th at the Sullivan County Fairgrounds with an amazing turnout. Junior Prince and Princess were Alex Farrell and Willow Doherty, and prom king and queen were Colin King and Mariah Hollabaugh. Congratulations to the royalty. Now on to events happening in the school right now. This morning, the seniors left for their senior class trip to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Underclassmen will have their final exams on Thursday, May 2nd for math and English. That's May 28th for math and English. Friday, May 29th for science and social studies. And Monday, June 1st will be for double math and sciences and any makeups that need to be taken. Seniors who attend NTCC will have their award ceremony on Thursday, May 21st. Serena Armoya and Blaze Fitzgerald brought home special awards. Seniors will be practicing for graduation, baccalaureate, and class day on Monday and Tuesday next week. Baccalaureate will be held on Tuesday, June 2nd at 7 p.m., Awards Day and Class Day will be held on Wednesday, June 3rd at 9:30 a.m. And graduation is Friday, June 5th at 7 p.m. on the blacktop, weather permitting. Underclassmen will be enjoying the SOAR picnic at Lake Tacoma on Tuesday, June 2nd, and the block party on Wednesday, June 3rd. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Okay, we'll now go to administrative reports. Mrs. Everlin, I'll pitch it right back to you.
I think she covered it pretty much, so thank you.
Mr. Miller.
Just some upcoming events for the elementary school, in case any of the cyber students would like to join us. We have Environmental Day tomorrow for 5th grade. We have our 6th grade recognition coming up Thursday. We have some community-based trips for first grade and kindergarten. And Field Day, the 28th is grades 4 to 6, and June 1st is K to 3.
Thank you. Dr. Zawadi.
Nothing beyond my written report this evening.
Mr. Walker.
In addition, my report just also wanted to highlight some more of those athletes. Congrats to Tucker and Hattie. Similar to what Mrs. Evelyn said, they did phenomenal at the district championship meet. We also, for baseball, Madden Freeze was selected as a second-team infielder in the event, and Tucker Blasi was selected as a first-team outfielder. And then for softball, Bailey Smith was selected as a second-team outfielder, and Amelia Viveros was selected as a second-team pitcher. So congrats to all of them.
Awesome, thank you. Ms. Tusher?
Nothing beyond my written report.
Ms. Campbell?
Sure. Tonight I just want to speak candidly about where we are as a district, the difficult decisions before us this evening, and the path forward together. There is no question that our district is facing significant financial challenges. We know the conversations happening in our community. We hear the frustrations, the fear, the disappointment, and the concern about furloughs, reductions, and programmatic changes. These conversations are emotional because people care deeply about our schools and our students. I care deeply as well. The decisions being made are not easy, and they are not being made lightly. Every reduction impacts people, every adjustment affects classrooms, staff, families, and opportunities for students. As superintendent, I understand the weight of those decisions, and I also understand the responsibility we have to ensure that the district remains financially stable, not just for this year, but for years to come. We need to remember that we all share the same goal, providing the best possible education for our students. Whether someone is a parent, teacher, student, support staff member, administrator, board member, taxpayer, we want all of our students in our county to succeed and our schools to remain strong. I am asking our community to stay engaged, stay informed, and stay focused on solutions. We will continue communicating openly about our financial realities and the steps being taken to improve them. We will continue listening. We will continue advocating for students, and we will continue making decisions based on what is necessary for the long-term success of the district, even when those decisions are difficult. The work ahead is not going to be easy, hasn't been so far, and rebuilding financial stability will not happen overnight. But I believe strongly that our district can emerge stronger, more focused, and more sustainable than before. Our students deserve that, our staff deserve that, and our community deserves that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last, not a member of our administration, but got a couple questions from folks in between meetings about who Cassie is, so I wanted to give her a minute to introduce herself.
My name is Cassie Blaney. I am solicitor for the district. I work with Sweet Stevens, Katz and Williams. I'm actually based out of Troy, Pennsylvania. I'm born and raised in Bradford County. So I understand at least our small towns and rural communities and the challenges that we face that are different than many of my colleagues and have experience in the urban community. Happy to be here and help in any way.
All right, thank you. With that, we'll go ahead and move to public comment. I want to say a few things before I open the floor. Before I open public comment, I just want to say we've been hearing a lot the past few weeks about discipline and the rules and holding people accountable, and that we consider that important in this community. So I'm going to hold us to that too. If you are coming up to speak, we ask that you follow the rules we set in place, and we will hold folks accountable so that we can have a productive public input session. For this round of public input, there are 2 rules in particular I want to highlight. First, each speaker has 5 minutes. I won't cut you off mid-sentence, but I will let you know when 5 minutes is up. You'll hear the timer go off. When time is up, we ask that you cede to the next speaker. The second point, this first round of public comment is limited to items on our agenda. We have a second round of public input at the end of the meeting that is open to any relevant topic. So if your comment is not about one of the items on the agenda, you'll need to wait until the public comment at the end of the meeting, because as you know, we have a lot of business we need to vote on here tonight. If you do not want to wait, you can give your information to Mr. Villa up here, and we can follow up with you. We've also printed out pages with all of our phone numbers and email addresses, so I don't just tell you to go to the website. You can actually grab a paper on your way out if you want to make sure that you have our contact information and follow up with us. So yeah, last thing, this is our public input session, so we want to focus on hearing from you versus engaging in a back and forth. We want your 5 minutes to be yours, and we want the time to hear you out. So just to recap, 5 minutes each. In this round, your comment must be about one of our agenda items. I'll now open the floor for public comment. If you could come up to the microphone if you'd like to speak.
I don't want to blast anybody out. I can be a little loud, I've been told. Members of the board, good evening. For those of you that may not know me, I'm Joe Smelko. I've been here as a social studies teacher for the last 4 years. During my time here, I've been tasked with educating students in a myriad of different things, but mainly geography, economics, and history. In my career, I've always tried to lead by example and practice what I teach. This is one of those times. I've helped guide and encourage students to take an active part in their political process and address matters that directly affect them, and voicing their thoughts and their concerns in a constructive, respectful manner, knowing that even at the end of the day, things may not turn out the way that they would like, but it's okay. So with all of that being said, that's why I'm here, to practice what I teach, and to lead by example and voice my thoughts and concerns headed into this evening in a constructive, respectful manner about the budget and discussions or the decisions and voting that you're going to be making tonight. Many times in economics class, I tell my kids, don't worry, you're nothing but just red numbers on a spreadsheet. I have to confess, I probably lied to them. The reality is, this is a lot more than just red numbers on a spreadsheet. These decisions that you make are not just about numbers, they are about programs, activities, and people. People that are here and have one thing in common, and that is providing the best possible education and opportunities to students of the Sullivan County School District, while still trying to meet our budgetary restraints. Ultimately, that's the goal of every person in this room. So, all I'm saying is before you vote for the different items this evening, I encourage each and every one of you to think about what this means and ask yourselves, how can we provide the best education opportunities to students of the Sullivan County School District? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
To ask for clarification, because I do intend to speak about the cyber schools that we pay, and the invoices are on the agenda, so I'm not sure if that's a stretch or not.
No, that's fine.
I'm happy to wait to read either one. Yeah, Ellen Koshak. Just want to set my glasses down. I did prepare my comments, so please excuse me if I'm looking down, because I'm citing some stats, and I don't want to miscite those stats. In a previous meeting, a community member asked about the performance of cyber schools as compared to Sullivan County, and did not receive a thorough answer, and that frustrated me because it's an issue I am familiar with. Nationally, cyber charter schools underperform public brick and mortar schools across the board. as reported by the Educational Law Center and attested at the PA House Education Committee. I thought perhaps that was too broad to apply to Sullivan County, as we are uniquely rural, uniquely small, and uniquely strong. So I pulled related data from the PDE Future Ready Index. I decided to compare Sullivan County to the top 4 cyber schools to which we pay tuition. It was no surprise to me that we outperform all 4, and I would like to highlight a few specific, very relevant categories for you. As a disclaimer, this is school-wide data and does not reflect the performance of any individual student, nor is it meant to disparage families who have made a personal choice about the education of their child. In the category of career benchmark standards, an area I was quite familiar with, an indicator that represents the percent of students who demonstrate engagement in instruction and activities to satisfy the career education and work academic standards. Sullivan County High School beat out all 4 of the cyber schools with a score of 98.9%. In fact, one of our top 4 cybers was at 45%. Only 45% of their students actually complete the career standards required by the state of Pennsylvania. In the category of industry-based learning, I took a look at the NOCTIs, the test that test our students at VOTEC. Our score was 19.2. That seemed very low, so I referenced the calculation, and that is out of all 12th graders. Not all 12th graders take the NOCTI, so that's why it sits where it is. The other cybers, or the cybers that we go to, the highest result was 1%. The others were 0.2, 0.1, and 0. In the category of rigorous course of study, so far surpassed any of the cybers we did. This indicator is of the percentage of 12th graders who participated in at least one rigorous course of study, defined as advanced placement, international baccalaureate, Cambridge, or dual credit courses during grades 7 to 12, or in a concentrated CTE program of study. Sullivan's score was 87.2. The closest cyber was 17.7. The others were 16.5, 14.2, and 9.4. That equates to Sullivan County outshining the cybers on average by 72.75% in the area of rigorous course of study. Another category is post-secondary transition. This indicator is the percentage of high school graduates who have enrolled in an institution of higher education, enlisted in the military, or entered the workforce within 16 months after their graduation date. Our score was 79.5. I was startled at that number because in all of my years in the guidance office, I rarely had a student not have a plan when they left. Upon further investigation, I found that the post-secondary transition to work measure relies on Pennsylvania government data sources and therefore does not reflect employment outside the Commonwealth and self-employment or employment in certain family-owned businesses. That aside, we again outscored each of the cybers in this comparison. The cyber nearest us, nearest our 79.5, was 56.4, and the lowest was 26.2. That means in that cyber charter, only 26.2 students enrolled in an institution of higher education, enlisted in the military, or joined the workforce. That's abysmal. And finally, graduation rate. Sullivan's most recent graduation rate, as reported in PDE, which was the 24-25 school year, was at 90.9%. The closest to us among the cybers was 76.2, with the lowest being 55.8 graduation rate. Graduation rate is based on the number of cohort students entering 9th grade 4 years prior to the reporting year. And I will mention a sneaky little trick that some cybers, or at least one that I know of, did play. They allow students to languish with them for 2 to 3 years, and then they release them so they have to come back to us. And then we do not turn them away, so they do not graduate in their 4-year window. We help them graduate, but it might take a longer time. So it ends up hurting our graduation rate just a little bit. So if any of you, administrators, board members, or community members are wondering if Sullivan County School District is providing a solid education and preparing our students for the future, the answer is yes. And clearly we're doing it better than cyber schools are or can. One last comment I feel compelled to offer, and this might be off agenda, I apologize, but I don't know if you want me to come back up. You want me to come back up for this other one?
Yeah, we'll end it there.
No problem.
Thank you.
I'll come back.
All right, I just want to reply
There you go. Or ask a question about what Ellen just presented. I'm sorry. Alice Carpenter, most of you know me, some of you may or may not, retired teacher, left here 2 years ago. But with that information that Ellen just gave,
in terms of our district being outperforming the top 4 cyber charters that we pay for, has the question ever been asked, or can it be asked, or presented to Harrisburg, or how would you go about doing it, that if our goal as an educational entity is to provide the best education possible, why are we forced to pay for underperforming schools? Like, if our goal is the best, and we can prove by the state's own metrics that we are better, why are we not arguing that question? I mean, I'll go on a committee down to Harrisburg and say, hey, you're making our school district pay, and they're not outperforming us. I get it that parents want a choice and want better, but if it's not better,
taxpayer. I agree, Sullivan County does have very good numbers, right? Sorry, in short. But I also feel like for each kid it might be different. Kids can't learn in a negative environment, and that's where my children were at. So maybe they're good for other people's kids, and I think there's a lot of great teachers here. My kids were not learning here. They were coming home in tears. You don't learn like that. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
Hi, my son is medically complex. That is, oh, my name's Allie, and I am a parent of a kid who does come to the public school, and I am a parent of 2 kids that are in CCA. And I have one kid that is medically complex. And my fear of sending him back to public school is that he is not going to be taken care of the way that he should be, which I have recently had a conversation with you. My 16-year-old was bullied. And that is exactly why he is in CCA. He is coming back to Sullivan County next year, but it's not because we want him to. So you guys, I agree, you guys have great numbers. I have a kid right now who is National Honor Society. He is a great straight A student. He puts the work in, and that is in your guys' program. But you have those kids who do not learn under the environment of what he was experiencing. Sorry, not to put you on the blast, Connor, but he experienced a lot of stress and anxiety through this coming to public school. So seeing a difference in homeschooling and in public school, he's got straight A's right now. Like, he's doing really well. Like, he's doing great. So I think, yes, you guys do well teaching, but also take into consideration those who have a hard time learning. They really do. And the medically complex kids who have to be at home because they physically cannot come to school. So it's not our fault that the kids have to be in that type of situation. And that's all I have to say, because CCA that is where my kids go. That is where they go. One is returning, but one is not coming back because he just physically cannot come back. So that's all I have to say. He is also doing very well. He has straight A's, and he puts the work in. Lucas learned how to read this year. He didn't learn how to read last year, but the kid can fluently read this year. No thanks to his teachers through CCA. So I'm not downing his teachers at all. They put in the work too. As long as the kids attend a class, they can thrive just as much.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move us into the agenda. We will have that second public comment period at the end of the meeting where folks can speak on other topics. Thank you, and thank you for a good productive session to start. Just want to name, we do not have an executive session tonight, but we did have one on May 19th, 2026 for personnel matters. And with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Finance.
I'd like to bundle together A, C, E, F, H, I, J. Am I so moved? I'd like to bundle together A, C, D, C, E, F, Second.
A motion and a second, so just what he's saying is we're going to vote for all those items together in one vote so that there's more time given to those singular items. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions on any of those items?
Could you give the items again? Okay, A, C, E, F, H, I, and J.
I'll give a minute for folks to look those over and make sure we don't have any questions about any of them. Mr. Fitzgerald, what about E? Do you want E in the group as well? I think you said it the first time, but not the second time. Okay. So yes, item E is also included in this vote.
Okay, it's A, C, E, F, H, I, J.
Are board members ready to proceed with the vote? Mr. Stockdale, you ready?
This is your point for the discussion, so.
On the bills, I noticed on some of the bills we were paying for travel. I thought we put paying for. Okay. I thought we weren't paying for travel when I see there's checks for travel in the check registers.
If you have a specific one, some of them were turned in, and they were from prior to, so the dates would have only gone through the budget freeze. Other travel might be inclusive for things like our contractors, if you're seeing payment for those.
No, it was to individuals.
Okay.
We can go back and look through now. I just thought we were paying for travel.
That is
and
correct.
As of what date?
Through April 21st.
Starting April 21st.
That's correct.
Yeah, we were still reimbursing per contract for travel that occurred prior to the budget freeze. So I think there were some that kind of fell over.
The bills to be approved are from April 14th, so it's definitely possible. We can take a peek at the dates if you have specifics.
Thank you.
Did that satisfy your questions? Any more questions? Okay, then, we'll take the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
B, administration recommends approval to pay the following cyber charter schools invoices totaling $202,832.34. And I so move.
Do we have a second? Second. Any discussion here?
Can I just point something out? Because I had a question at a meeting, a few meetings ago, about if we were to vote no on paying these cyber school invoices. And I asked our business manager, and she said we could vote no, but that the cyber schools would automatically withdraw the money from our account regardless of our vote. So I don't know if April wants to elaborate on that, but.
Right, yep, that's correct. If we decline to pay them, what happens is they submit to the state, and then the state will withhold the funds from our subsidy payments. So we don't really have a choice.
And students would not be losing any services during
That's
that
correct.
time.
Yeah, I mean, this is more of a statement than a question. I think we've spoken about, at least I can speak for myself, like, it's not the cyber charter parents' fault that the funding formula is so skewed. And so even though the money would be taken, for me, I vote yes every month because I feel like it shows our commitment to serving all students in the district. And if that's a different placement, that's a different placement. Doesn't mean that I support the funding model, but that's personally what I'm thinking there. Any other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Blasi?
No.
Derlin?
No.
Fitzgerald?
No.
Pinella?
Yes.
Hoover?
Yes.
Gordon? Yes. Stockdale?
Yes.
Nolan?
Yes.
And Reese?
No.
5 yeses, 4 noes. Motion passed.
G, Finance Committee recommends approval to exonerate real estate taxes for parcel 01-019-001-015 in the amount of $120.97 due to an incorrect parcel assessment which was assessed as a cabin. The parcel contains a mobile home resulting in the exoneration, and I so move.
Motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
A, Finance Committee recommends approval to accept a $600 donation from McDermott Post 452 to be used towards the Music Department New York City field trip, and I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Just want to continue to say thank you for our community for continuing to, be so generous with our district and help us do these awesome things. If there's no other comment, we'll go to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
L, Administration recommends approval of a donation from the elementary school PTO for a slide replacement on the elementary school playground, and I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Same goes for our PTO. We're really excited to have that replaced. It's been a while. We'll go to a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
M, the Finance Committee recommends approval to eliminate the Family Consumer Science program at the Sullivan County High School, resulting in the furlough of one staff member, employee number 100488, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? I'll just say on behalf of the board, none of these decisions are easy. If you weren't here last week, that meeting ran very late as we listened to the community and we discussed and weighed all these different options. So you're not hearing that discussion tonight, but very much was a major point of discussion last week. So we'll move to the vote. Roll call, please.
Gerlin,
Yes.
Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Pinella,
Yes.
Hoover,
Yes.
Gordon, yes. Stockdale,
Yes.
Nolan,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
and Flossie.
Yes.
9 yeses, motion passed.
And the Finance Committee recommends approval to reduce the business education program staffing at Sullivan County High School by one person, resulting in the furlough of one staff member, employee number 100777. And I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Pinella,
Yes.
Hoover,
Yes.
Jordan, yes. Stockdale,
Yes.
Nolan,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Flossie,
Yes.
and Derland.
Yes.
9 yeses, motion passed.
O, the Finance Committee recommends approval of the furlough of 4 staff members. Employee number 100791, employee 100752, employee 100719, and employee 100707 for economic reasons in accordance with the resolution of intent to suspend employees adopted by the board on April 21st, 2026, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Pinella,
Yes.
Hoover,
Yes.
Jordan, yes. Stockdale,
No.
Nolan,
Yes.
Reese,
No.
Flossie,
No.
Derland,
Yes.
Fitzgerald,
Yes.
6 yeses, 3 noes, motion passed.
Before I read P, our business manager has a presentation.
Before I pull the presentation up, I just kind of want to give a summary about where we've been and where we currently are as we look at the 2026-2027 proposed final budget. On March 31st, 2026, we completed the 24-25 annual audit, and we submitted the annual financial report to the Pennsylvania Department of Education as required by the state. Upon completion of that process, the business office immediately transitioned into preparation of the 26-27 school year budget. As a reminder, the budgeting process requires administrators to work collaboratively with their staff to project the operational and instructional needs of their departments into anticipated expenditures. As the new business manager for Sullivan County School District, my approach this year has been to implement what is known as zero-based budgeting. This means we begin at 0 and we work through each line item and operational area individually to ensure due diligence over requested expenditures, rather than simply carrying forward the same allocations year after year. During the initial stages of this process, by the first week of April, the projected deficit stood at approximately $1.96 million. Ms. Kaler and I informed Board President, Mrs. Nolan, and requested a special meeting to alert the board and all interested stakeholders. Prior to the first meeting held on April 7th, 2026, Ms. Kaler and I also met with district administrators to make them aware of the projected deficit that the district was facing. From that point forward, our administrative team immediately began reviewing expenditures, analyzing projections, and identifying opportunities within their proposed budgets to reduce the projected shortfall. By the time of the April 7th special committee meeting, the projected deficit had already been reduced to approximately $1.3 million. During that meeting, we discussed several areas of concern where district expenditures have significantly exceeded projections, as well as concerns related to prior year budgeting practices in the current 25-26 budget year. As a business manager, I'm routinely working within 3 fiscal years simultaneously, reviewing prior year data, monitoring the current year, and projecting forward into the next fiscal year. During the annual audit of 2024-2025, we uncovered areas where expenditures exceeded budgeted amounts, including cyber charter tuition, special education cost, and federal expenditures compared to corresponding revenues. These findings were central to this discussion of the April 7th meeting. Additionally, the board was presented with the option of offering early retirement incentives to both professional and support staff. That incentive program was approved at the special meeting held on April 14th, 2026. Following that meeting, the board and administration committed to reducing current year expenditures as much as possible in order to avoid additional spending during the 25-26 school year, particularly given that our audited ending fund balance totaled approximately $1.9 million. Those funds are divided among committed, assigned, and unassigned categories. With projected current year end overruns for 25-26 in areas such as cyber charter tuition and special education, it's critical that the district maintain sufficient reserves to close out the current fiscal year responsibly. The budget freeze was implemented as part of that effort. Following the April 7th meeting, we committed to presenting a proposed preliminary budget on April 28th. During the 3 weeks leading up to that meeting, additional quotes and contractual figures for the upcoming year were received, and despite continued reduction efforts, projected expenditures increased. This was largely driven by increase in healthcare costs, as well as a continued refinement and closer review of operational expenditures as part of the standard budgeting process. When the preliminary budget was presented on April 28th, the district was facing a projected deficit of approximately $1.34 million. That figure already included the planned use of approximately $264,000 from the committed fund balance to offset projected expenditures. From April 28th through today, faculty, staff, and administrators have worked collaboratively to examine expenditures, identify cost-saving opportunities, and make thoughtful recommendations that prioritize the long-term sustainability of the district while remaining committed to our educational mission. Our faculty, staff, and administrators' dedication and tireless efforts have brought us to where we are today. As of today, we're able to present a balanced proposed final budget for 2026-2027 school year. Over the course of the last several weeks, significant reductions and adjustments have been made in an effort to ensure that the difficult discussions and decisions taking place tonight truly represented a last resort measure. Those reductions were achieved through a variety of collaborative efforts across all departments and all levels of the organization. These are not conversations that many of us envision having as a new administrative team, particularly at a time when many positive initiatives and forward-focused efforts have had to be paused in order to address the significant financial challenges we uncovered. However, I want to assure our community that these decisions were made out of a necessity and with the singular purpose of ensuring that Sullivan County School District remains financially stable and able to continue providing a quality education for our students. I would also like to recognize and thank our administrators, faculty, staff, board members, and community stakeholders who have contributed ideas, feedback, and countless hours throughout this process. This collaboration and commitment demonstrate during these challenging discussions that the shared dedication we all have for the future of Sullivan County School District remains a priority. With that, I will bring up, I have just a few brief slides to show ahead of the vote this evening. We're just going to look at where we're at for the projection on April 28th versus today and what's changed. So specific to our revenues, you'll see the totals there, $19.7 million was at the April 28th meeting, and as of today, we're at 19.5 million. That's a net difference of $199,193. So for the revenues reductions, this is contributed from a decline in staffing levels, which reduced overall payroll expenditures, which also resulted in lower projected revenues, which are tied directly to payroll cost. That includes FICA revenue that's received from the federal government to help offset a portion of Social Security and Medicare costs. And then as payroll expenditures decrease, that also declines our PSERS retirement subsidy revenue. So that's where the decline in revenues came from. What's changed for expenditures? As of the April 28th meeting, we were at $21.38 million. And as of today, we're at 19.842. That's a net savings of $1,543,391. The key drivers for our expenditure reductions, we'll start with the personnel savings. They were achieved through a total of 12 staffing reductions. That includes 4 paraprofessional positions through attrition, 6 professional staff furloughs, and then 2 professional staff resignations. In addition to staffing adjustments, operational savings were realized through the deferral of certain facilities maintenance projects, reductions in athletic-related expenditures, a decreased contractual service cost, and then a reduction in our summer school program expenses. Any questions?
Yeah, can you just expand a little bit on what contractual service expenditures are?
Yes, so we reviewed all of our current contracts and looked for areas of opportunity for cost savings, whether that be for contracts that are being approved this evening or other contracts that are standing. We looked and reviewed those and found some areas for cost savings.
Ms. Keller, I think you wanted to say something about music, art.
Oh, yes, some of the positions that are vacant through resignations, we do intend to maintain programming in both the elementary and high school for art and music in some capacity. We are going to be working as an administrative team on scheduling and committing to finding a way to ensure that our students still have access to those programs.
Any other questions from the board?
All right, P, the Financial Committee recommends approval of the 2026-2027 proposed final budget in the amount of $19,842,991. The budget will be available for public inspection at the district office and may be amended until its final adoption. Final adoption of the budget is scheduled for June 25th, 2026, and I so move.
Any questions?
I just want to clarify the date that's on the agenda states June 23rd. PDE indicates that we need 30 days, so it'll be on June 25th, which is Thursday. So same week, but that is why it was read that way by Mr. Fitzgerald.
Roll call, please.
Hooper?
Yes.
Jordan? Yes. Stockdale?
No.
Nolan?
Yes.
Reese?
No.
Flossie?
Yes.
Derland?
Yes.
Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Pinella?
Yes.
7 yeses, 2 nos. Motion passed.
Okay, Q, The Finance Committee recommends approval of resolution number 2026-1, establishing tax rates for the 2025-2026 fiscal year as follows. 1, real estate tax at 16.25 mils. 2, Act 55511, earned income tax 1%. 3, real estate transfer tax 1%. And I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Jordan? Yes. Stockdale?
No.
Nolan?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Flossie?
Yes.
Derland?
Yes.
Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Pinella?
Yes.
Hoover?
Yes.
8 yeses, 1 no. Motion passed.
R, the Finance Committee recommends approval of resolution number 2026-2, homestead farmstead exclusion, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Stockdale?
Yes.
Nolan?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Flossie? Derland?
Yes.
Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Pinella?
Yes.
Hoover?
Yes.
Jordan? Yes. 9 yeses. Motion passed.
You don't have any other, do you?
No.
Okay, we'll go to athletics and extracurriculars.
Athletics and Extracurricular Committee recommends approval of the donation from Sean Molesky of a full set of catcher's gear to the varsity baseball team, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? And just thank you for the generous donation. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Athletics and Extracurricular Committee recommends approval of the donation of a storage tote to the girls' wrestling teams from Matt and Shelley Heinrich, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Thank you again for the donation. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item C, Athletics and Extracurricular Committee recommends accepting with regret the resignation of Matthew Heinrich as varsity girls wrestling head coach, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item D, Athletics and Extracurricular Committee recommends accepting with regret the resignation of Austin Kelsey as junior high boys basketball assistant coach, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item E, Athletics and Extracurricular Committee recommends accepting with regret the resignation of Rich Swiger as junior high boys basketball assistant coach, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Athletics and Extracurricular Committee makes the recommendation for the creation of a sports management club, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Mr. Walker, just want to confirm no cost to this. Any costs will be filled by fundraising, right? Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item G is informational. As of April 27, 2026, Ethan Walker's met the minimum requirements to receive the Registered Athletic Administrator certification from the NIAAA. Congratulations. I don't have any other unless somebody else does.
We'll move to Buildings and Grounds.
A, the Buildings and Grounds Committee recommends the liquidation of assets on hand, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
B is informational. It's on the timber harvest update. Do we have anything on that?
Mr. Tuwa is absent this evening, but he has made connection to be able to get a rough quote for the district and is planning to do so within the next month.
I had talked to him, and that's precisely what he said. He was working on it. Thank you. Unless we have any other.
We'll go to Curriculum and Student Activities. Item A, Curriculum and Student Activities recommends approval of the list of potential graduates for the class of 2026 as presented, with the administration reserving the authority to remove the name of any student who does not meet the graduation requirements, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Just want to say congratulations to the graduates. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That's all for Curriculum and Student Activities. On to Personnel.
Personnel Committee recommends approval of the SCES Summer School Program to run from July 6th through July 24th, 2026, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
I just wanted to comment that this program, we significantly reduced the staffing, the number of students attending, and transportation costs. So we still want to provide opportunities for students who need that to get across the finish line for promotion. So it's not going to look as it has in the past, but we are committed to getting these students the support that they need.
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
The Personnel Committee recommends approval to post and advertise for 2 teachers in anticipation for the SCES Summer School programs to be paid in accordance with the applicable contractual provisions, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
The Personnel Committee recommends accepting with regret a letter of resignation from high school art teacher Carissa Gavitt effective May 7th, 2026, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
The Personnel Committee recommends acceptance with regret of retirement from Kathy Harriman effective after her last day of work on June 4th, 2026 under the established early retirement incentive, and I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
E, the Personnel Committee recommends acceptance with regret and early retirement from Colleen Metzger effective June 30th, 2026 under the established early retirement incentive, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
F, the Personnel Committee recommends acceptance with regret a letter of resignation with Joseph Road, high school music teacher, effective June 30th, 2026, and I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
B, administration recommends approval of the following additional days for the respective teachers to be carried out during the summer of 2026 to be paid in accordance under the current negotiated contract. Metal shop 2 days, wood shop 2 days, high school library 3 days, elementary guidance 5 days, and high school guidance 5 days. And I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I don't believe we have any other, so that is all for personnel.
Thank you. On to policy and procedure.
Policy and procedure, item A, Policy and Procedure Committee recommends the following policies for first read. 1, Policy 202, eligibility of non-resident students. 2, 006, local board procedures. 3, Policy 218.1, weapons. 4, Policy 227, controlled substances, paraphernalia. 5, Policy 234, pregnant parenting married students. And I so move.
Motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
Last week I did bring up Policy 234, pregnant parenting married students. Reading that further, it does specify regarding that specific topic, and I know we wanted to change the wording a little bit. However, reading that puts it exactly where it should be for that specific policy. So if there's any confusion, I apologize. I just want to clear that.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Policy and Procedure Committee recommends the following policies for second read. 122, extracurricular activities. 123, interscholastic athletics. And 146.1, trauma-informed approach. And I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
With no other, that is all for policy and procedure.
Thank you. We'll go to transportation.
Transportation Committee recommends approval of the extension of the HEA Transportation Athletic Teams Transportation Contract. Rest of the contract through June 30th, 2028. This extension is permitted under the terms outlined in the original contract dated August 15th. As presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That is all for transportation. We will move into the board reports. I'm going to go ahead and start. I apologize, but I do have a good bit to say. I just want to name this is coming from me as an individual board member and does not necessarily reflect the position of the board or the district. Speaking for myself. So when the board elected me president back in December, one of my goals was to increase public engagement. Well, I guess I got my wish. It's been a very interesting, difficult, but also inspiring month. It takes a lot of courage to attend a public meeting and speak up. I thank those individuals who did and who contributed to our constructive conversation about our budget decisions and the ways we can continue to improve as a district in all facets. We need you to keep coming to these meetings. The business every month can be a little boring and dry, but it all adds up into the district that you see today. Please continue to ask questions and share your feedback. We are accountable to you because this school district is locally governed by our local taxpayers. And again, just want to name, there's a sheet of paper up there with all our names, phone numbers, emails, so you don't have to go find it on the website. You can just go grab one of those. We'd love to continue hearing from you. It also takes a lot of courage to attend a public meeting and basically put your job performance and credibility on the line. How many of us in this room tonight, myself included, have to attend a public meeting and hear feedback from any given member of the community about our performance at our job? Yes, that responsibility comes with the job when you are paid by public dollars, but you still have to acknowledge that it is an incredibly difficult and brave thing to do. I think it speaks to the commitment and excellence of our administration that they have been sitting right here in the front rows of this auditorium, listening to every single person who shows up. We are lucky to have them, and I have complete confidence in them that they will continue to improve our district. I want to speak about Dr. Zawadi in particular. Please don't kill me. I'm going to talk about you specifically because I've worked in public education for 17 years in 3 different states, and you are the most committed, knowledgeable, dedicated director of special education that I've ever worked with. I believe I do speak for many members of the board in saying that we have complete confidence in you to continue providing the very best service we can to our special education students and their families. It doesn't mean we'll get things right 100% of the time, but I know without a doubt that Dr. Zawadi works tirelessly with every family to find the solutions that are best for their child. Thank you for all you have done and will continue to do for our district. I'm going to close by sharing a short story with all of you. It's actually, you'll forgive me, the story behind the tattoo on my wrist, so I purposely keep this very close to me as a constant reminder. Some of you may have heard the story of Admiral Jim Stockdale. Stockdale was the highest-ranking United States military officer in the Hanoi Hilton prisoner of war camp during the height of the Vietnam War. He was one of the primary organizers of prisoner resistance. Tortured routinely and denied medical attention for the severely damaged leg he suffered during capture, Stockdale created and enforced a code of conduct for all prisoners, which governed torture, secret communications, and behavior. When told by his captors that he was to be paraded in public to show how good POWs were being treated, Stockdale cut his scalp with a razor to purposely disfigure himself so that his captors could not use him as propaganda. When they covered his head with a hat, he beat himself with a stool until his face was swollen beyond recognition. This man did not give up. He was tortured over 20 times during his 8-year imprisonment from 1965 to 1973. He didn't have any prisoner's rights, so no set release date and no certainty as to whether he would even survive to see his family again. A book author named Jim Collins interviewed Stockdale and asked him how he survived those 8 years as a prisoner of war. Stockdale said, "I never lost faith in the end of the story. I never doubted not only that I would get out, but also that I would prevail in the end and turn the experience into the defining event of my life, which in retrospect, I would not trade." Collins asked him, "So who didn't make it out?" Stockdale said, "Oh, that's easy, the optimists." The optimists were the ones who said, "We're going to be out by Christmas," and Christmas would come and Christmas would go. Then they'd say, "We're going to be out by Easter," and Easter would come and Easter would go, and then Thanksgiving, and then it would be Christmas again, and they died of a broken heart. This is a very important lesson Stockdale went on. You must never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end, which you can never afford to lose, with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever they might be. I share this story with you because even though the brutal facts of our current reality are nothing like what Stockdale endured, but they have been very hard, and tonight has been hard. My commitment to you is that we will not ignore the brutal facts of whatever our situation is. We will face them head on because that is the only way to get to where we need to be. We will continue to listen, continue to address our problems, because I have faith in this district and in our community that we will prevail in the end. Thank you. Mr. Carolyn?
Dad for this evening.
Mr. Fitzgerald?
Speaking for myself, we made some hard decisions tonight, and they were only made out of necessity. We weren't trying to hurt anybody intentionally. We were just trying to make it so the district can be as strong as it needs to be. Thank you.
Mr. Reese?
No, just congratulations to the 2026 grads, all the spring student athletes, and all the other extracurricular activities with the art show, all that great stuff. That's all.
Ms. Weaver?
Dad.
Ms. Jordan?
I just want to say congratulations to the graduates and good job to everybody in the spring sports and the art show. It was beautiful. Very good talent there.
Mr. Blasey? Mr. Stockdale?
No report.
Ms. Pinella?
I just wanted to, echo what Joe said about having to make really hard, terrible decisions tonight. And I want everyone to know that even though there may not have been a lot of discussion at this table tonight, we have literally spent hours and hours and hours over the last 8 weeks talking about these decisions. And it breaks my heart that we are changing the course of people's lives. And just please know that we're not taking that lightly, that it is very serious and it's sad, but I do have faith that we can get through this and hopefully we'll come out better on the other side. So thank you to all the board members, all the administrators, the parents, the taxpayers, and most importantly, the teachers.
Thank you. All right, that concludes the board reports. We will now go to the second round of public comment. Once again, I'm going to remind us of a couple things. Each speaker has 5 minutes. And then this public comment period is open to any relevant topics. And just to say, as a reminder, because I know this has come up, we cannot get into discussions of specific incidents regarding our students and staff. To be honest, we're not allowed that kind of access into any student or personnel files. And so any situation that you may bring to us, we very much want to hear you out and we want to work to problem solve it, but we still cannot delve into that in a public meeting. We would love to hear you out and solve that problem right here and now, but that just isn't how it works. So again, we're looking forward to hearing from you, and we'll go ahead and open the floor now.
My name's Dana Schrader. I have 2 kids in the school district. Some of the stuff I have wrote out was already addressed, so bear with me going through this. I want to start out by thanking the staff members in this district who have truly supported my children. There are people who have helped my son throughout his mood swings and my daughters through her meltdowns. Some staff members understand how to calm Shane down without letting situations escalate, like allowing him to flip the switch, light switches on and off, and walking out of the school districts like he has previous years. Recently, my son has shown lots of improvement in his behavior and how things with trying new things. I appreciate the teachers and the staffs who have helped support the progress when things come in sight. However, I want to address some concerns. One major concern is the bullying, especially on the buses in the previous years, when after grounding my child multiple times to find out that it wasn't just my child lashing out of nowhere, it was others pushing to the kids' limits, and then finding out until finding out and having my kid move buses and still having problems in school until the kids moved different districts. I also contacted the school multiple times about Bella being bullied. Unfortunately, she doesn't hardly report situations anymore because she feels like nothing gets done. Where I've told her she needs to tell me so I can at least contact somebody, which I do. I understand there's times when my own children are at fault, and when that happens, I work on correcting their behavior. But as parents and students have said before, the school claims that zero tolerance for bullying. What happens when families continue to report these, but not everything, but it doesn't seem like everything is getting handled right? Another concern is about the money being discussed about purchasing a mat, which didn't get brought up tonight like it did in the previous meeting, which I'm taking it got shut down. But I still want to question why so much money would be spent on that instead of other things that could benefit the kids' education and dignity. For example, why is there not a bathroom for disabled children? So my question is, what is the $20,000 going for that we were discussing last time for the mat? And I also want to bring up that I also noticed in the last meeting that Gabe tried to speak up for the parents and students, and he was quickly shut down. Why is it a problem when the board member speaks honestly about something of the family's concerns and it easily gets shut down by somebody? That's all I got for now.
Thank you.
My name's Jerry Gaynor. Last week, somebody made a promise to call all the charter school people and find out what's going on, why all the charter schooling. And I was wondering who did that or if it was done.
I don't mind answering that. I made phone calls on Friday and Saturday, left a lot of messages, but families were contacted. We have, I think, one additional that we need to make contact with, but I personally called and spoke with everyone who was willing to chat.
Did you get any feedback?
Yes, I'm compiling the feedback. The weekend was spent gathering that and having those conversations. I was very thankful for the family's willingness to share, a lot of personal, truly information. So that will be compiled for the board report.
And you have to come to the next meeting to hear this?
I'm not sure if it will be publicly discussed because it does pertain to a lot of individual families and student needs. But as a whole, we can certainly share out some type of information regarding the topics, the main areas of concern.
Okay. I got another, I see this timber money from land that, does the school board own 30 acres? But I think that was what the guy that was going to get the estimate said last week.
Yeah, I think I can speak to that. So I don't know the exact acreage, but the school does own a reasonable amount of property back here. And the theory behind that part of the agenda was to just have our timber assessed. So in the process of looking at all of our cost savings, an idea came out that we should look at our property and see if there's any commercial timber on it that's available that makes sense.
Why not sell it?
I think that's what we're looking at to see if it makes sense.
No, I mean not the timber, just sell the land. You get more for the land than you could for the timber.
When a public school owns real estate, it's a very complicated and complex process. Like, we can't just put it on the free market for sale, but it's not, all ideas are very, something that we take very seriously. So it's certainly not a bad idea to look at that. The reason we looked at the timber, while it might not have an immense amount of commercial timber and available funds, the problem with selling real estate is it's just kind of a one-time deal. We could sell it for fair market value potentially if you went through the process. But I think the long-term goals of the district is to retain the land and see if there's something we can do to it that can create revenue that stretches on. We don't know the extent of the timber that could be on it. That's why we're trying to look at and hopefully get a reasonable rate to have a forester take a peek at it.
Yeah, well, there's, okay, our taxes are going up 3.5% or so many bills, but there's a lot of people in this county that this is going to hurt. There's people living day to day. You know, I never hear anybody talking about taxes going down. Transportation, the budget was just passed, but we talked last week about, do you cut the number of late buses? Did that happen? Or is it just running the way it was when we talked about it?
Right now, there's no specific bus cuts, but there are, what the district is doing is they're assessing the actual transportation, like how routes, because right now it's very hard to make an immediate change on the routes that exist. It's extremely complex for the team members that manage that to figure out how all kids get access to the school. The other thing that wasn't made in a hasty decision is that the late buses, so there are a lot of children that if it weren't for these buses or the late routes, they would have no access to extracurricular activities, which when we did the research and talked to some of the families, without, we can't mention names or specific families, but some of the students, it's like the reason they're here. Meaning, if we shut that off, they in their minds, like, hey, I have no reason to be here because I want to be part of, this program or that program. So it was extremely difficult for us to say we were going to eliminate bus routes. I think our administration is looking at the routing to see if there's a way that we could possibly, there was lots of ideas to, without getting into a work session, like, is there routes where we could, again, this was like some of the brainstorming where a bus shows up to a specific place instead of a specific driveway. Saying, okay, could we take, like, sort of a pod of geography and say, okay, we're going to try to move these students. I think an example would be like Mildred. Some of the buses that stop in Mildred, there's kids that live within a close proximity. So we were thinking, like, could we talk to families that live in those areas that maybe aren't as condensed as, say, Mildred or Dewshore? And could there be more of a bus stop versus house to house? So we're looking into all those aspects from the transportation side.
Yeah, well, I'm not looking for taxes to go down, okay? I wish you would look closely at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was wondering, maybe I missed it, are our teachers still allowed to bring their students here free of charge? Ones that live outside of our district? They don't pay taxes here, but their kids get to come here for free?
The policy just passed first read.
Okay, so they can,
As
we're
written,
trying to
yes.
save money, but not that way. Got it. Thanks.
I'm Don Cicero. I'm a resident of Cherry Township. First of all, I want to thank you for taking care of the audio issues that I brought up last time. It is very adequate tonight, and I hope everybody would agree with me, and I'm glad that you paid attention to our hearing disabled folks. So, secondly, I understand that you guys have gone through something agonizing. I'm going to say that difficult is on the way, because as I've come to get involved with people here at the board meetings, I don't have any children, but it's to my benefit to have a good school in our county. People who live in Sullivan County are very proud of Sullivan County, as they should be. And I learned a lot. Something that I learned is that I'm thankful that we have April Tusher here as our business manager, because it became patently obvious that there was a lot of things that were missed that she picked up on. She comes to these meetings prepared, she answers questions, and I'll be honest with you, you wonder when you have new administration, is this something that turned up as a result of a new business manager? And that is clearly not the case. So I want to commend you on being prepared when you come to the meeting, even offering other options on the fly that would not necessarily be popular to people who are in the room. So I want you to know that. However, I wish I could say the same about other administration presentations, because we would ask questions, especially in the 2 weeks ago meeting, and one of the things that Ms. Nolan said is that she has the utmost confidence in administration, and I admire you for that. The problem is, I'm not sure the community does, and I think the reason for that is the woeful miscommunication that occurs. If people know what they're dealing with, I happen to be one of those people. If I know something is bad, or we're going to have a problem or something, I can get behind and support the solution. But the only thing that we heard in the last 2 meetings from administration is we walk the halls and there's wonderful things happening here. And there is. And in the audience, people said, there are horrible things happening here. There are things that my child is struggling with. Now, on behalf of administration, actually I'm not speaking for them, but kind of advocating in their part. Bullying is the biggest issue. That was clear in all the meetings. And I think it's important that parents know. I've been out of school for 45 years. People got bullied when I was in school. I happened to be one of them. Was not really popular. Was not somebody who was good at athletics. And you know something? In the long run, that can make you a stronger person. And it is the responsibility of parents to help people deal with that. Having people go to cyber school because of bullying is something that is really not a good solution for their kids. Because when they get out of the workforce, or they have to deal with somebody else, or I always equate things, I have been in supervision and administration a good portion of my life. And I see young people that I have to deal with when I'm a registered nurse. I've worked with the whole gamut. Young girls that come out. I have to deal with the bullying. And I just don't tolerate it. And you support people, you give them the tools, you teach them skills, you address the people who are bullying, that you will not tolerate it. And you give them examples of why. And you also give the bullies examples of, A, this would be a better way for you to do things. B, you could be a teacher. If you're proficient at what you do as an employee, why not step up, and in my case, it's for patients, why not step up and teach the people who are not as proficient at it to be proficient at it and be a leader. And it's an opportunity because bullies want to be leaders. They want recognition. And they don't have to be bullies to get it. But I have not heard anything from administration that even comes close to comparing with the presentation that this woman right here gave about finance. And I'm going to be returning to board meetings. And that's one of the reasons why I asked you. How many people do you contact? Gabe asked you. We need to get everybody in a room to find out what the problems are. And that's your opportunity to tell them, I need you to help me with bullying. I need you to understand that we're not picking on your kid. We want to make them better. Because also, from an employer standpoint, it is better if we get as many of the cyber kids back as we can, not only because it will save money, but 10 years from now, they're going to thank you for it when they go out in the workforce. They're going to understand. They can't understand it now, but they will understand it later. And something that I'm going to mention to you about school.
Mr. Cicero, I just want to say the timer has gone off. I want you to finish your thought.
This is my last thought.
Finish your thought, please.
In order to let you know how important this is, 45 years ago I was in school. I had a home ec teacher, and the home ec teacher made sure that we knew how to sew, knew how to do all these various things, laid out all of the silverware and plates on a table. It's something that my parents didn't teach me, but she taught it to me. Before prom, we learned how to address each other, what proper etiquette was. And I still use that today. It's something that is valuable that young people don't understand when they're young. But they're going to be thankful for it when they're old. And that should be your obligation to the parents and to the students of Sullivan County School District. Thank you for opening it to public comment.
Thank you. Dallas Carpenter again. I came actually for two reasons tonight, and one it was a good segue from the just most recent speaker, because he addressed the lack of presentation or information from administration. And being a retired teacher and having spent 20-some plus years on the student assistance team, I get it completely. They can't talk about it. I don't know if you don't believe that they can't, but they can't. And I know you asked about Ms. Kaler calling parents. She can't talk about what they said. So there are two sides to every story. And unfortunately, the stories that we've been hearing are one-sided. So I'm cautioning the public and the board to take what they're hearing and not jumping to conclusions. They don't know it all. They don't know both sides. The board hopefully will do its due diligence and talk with administration confidentially to find out that side. Or even the teachers that were involved, or the coaches that were mentioned. But it's not fair to sit here and say they're not responding. I know for a fact they cannot. Then the second reason I came up really was to support my friends that I left behind. I feel like I've talked to some of my teacher friends that our morale is really low. Understandably, it's been a tough spring. And then it's getting worse with comments online, teacher pay, they're not doing anything, they're worthless. So I went through and picked out a few pieces of information. Sullivan County High School, as we already heard from Ellen, is doing a ridiculously good job at preparing students for the educational outcomes. But, so just in case the board didn't know or the public didn't know, just going through the high school, sorry elementary school, I didn't spend as much time with you guys, so I don't know you as well. But there are 14 teachers at the high school, over half of the teachers at the high school have advanced degrees. Some of them have more than one advanced degree. That means a couple of master's degrees, one with a PhD. There are 14 teachers at the high school that have multiple certifications. That's a highlight for a district our small, and in fact, I know you guys advertise dual certifications preferred, because that means they can do a bunch of different jobs. You can, the cuts that you just made, the furloughs that you just made are going to be possible because we have people here with multiple certs. And I think the one, it might be 4, I've seen people with 4, saw maybe a 5th one, but we have them. So when people say, oh, they're not worth the money, or why is Sullivan County teacher pay? Whoever's making the statement that we're like the highest in the state, I need to see that reference because I haven't been able to find that anywhere. I have a niece that works outside of Philly. She's a niece, so she's younger than me, hasn't been in the field. She made $126,000 last year. There isn't a teacher in Sullivan County making $126,000. Sorry. But anyway, the teachers are doing a fabulous job, and again, they can't talk about the other side, the other things, and they're not going to. So when you're hearing all these bad things, they're not even able to defend themselves, and that's not fair to them. So you guys at the high school, elementary school, I'm sure there's some dual certs down there and multiple masters. You guys are doing a good job, and I hear it and I see it, and just keep up the good work, and the rest of us need to, there are people involved. So keep that in mind. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michaela Nolan. I have 2 children in this school district. I'm here again tonight to address concerns with the district, as last week we were limited to just discussing only the budget. First, I want to acknowledge a couple staff members who have positively impacted our lives and my daughter Lily's. Mrs. Strabilla, who is Lily's elementary life skills teacher and has always shown her kindness and compassion. Mrs. Vladimish helped bring Lily out of her shell during her early high school years. And Mrs. Higley, who despite our initial differences has gone above and beyond for my daughter, even so much as coming to our home to provide instruction last year when Lily was physically unable to attend school in person. With that being said, I myself and others are still left feeling concerned as to why this school is in such a deficit. Someone recently said something to me that really put things into perspective. They're worried about the front porch, meanwhile their roof is caving in. That statement mirrors what is happening in this district. Too much focus seems to be placed on appearances and additions, while other issues affecting students and families continue to go unresolved, leading more families to turn to cyber charter options. You say the school needs approximately 40 children to return to in-person schooling from cyber charter. But what are you doing to make it happen? From last week, wrestling mats over privacy and dignity, rewards for wrongdoing over appraisal for rights, a front porch over electives and classes that shape our children's futures, like shop classes and home ec, and very overpaid administration over teachers who actually care about the kids and their futures. It all seems very backwards. After last week's meeting and the Facebook post, there were indirect attempts to intimidate me into removing the video, despite the fact that no wrongdoing occurred. I did not record the video, and the Sunshine Act permits meetings open to the public to be recorded without announcements. My intentions were not to bring the school even more negative attention. You guys do that enough on your own. I simply posted to bring awareness to a personal situation. Did it ruffle some feathers? Absolutely. Is it reality? 100%. That's probably why some wanted it removed, because it's factual and not beneficial to the school's appearance. What I keep coming back to is this. If you truly care about these children and had no idea that these issues were happening, why was there no response, no concern, or outreach? Aside from an unprofessional Facebook message and a few messages from a school board member's daughter. No one attempted to address my concerns until the state became involved. This is a primary example as to why families are leaving. Concerns are made to feel invalid, students and parents made to feel unheard, intimidation being used to cover exposure of your wrongdoing. This is not solely about Lily or my family. This is about all the kids in the school district and their families. You directly caused this deficit, yet we're the ones left paying for it and increased taxes and layoffs. While you sit on your six-figure salaries for mediocre performance, families who struggle to get by are being forced to struggle harder to fix a mess that you caused. Maybe instead of a tax increase for families, a pay cut for poor performance for those in administration is more appropriate. Let me be clear, I do not want to see this district fail or its doors closed. Like many others, I hope to see real change. Individualized education tailored to each student, basic dignity and privacy for all students, and consistent enforcement of rules regarding bullying and wrongdoing. If what you want is students and families to return to in-person learning, then it's time to take accountability for your actions, refocus your priorities, and provide the strong supportive foundation for our children that our children need for their future. Thank you.
Hello, Kimberly Bunting. I was here at that meeting a couple of weeks ago, and one of the kind of takeaways that I had was like the lessons learned, right? Of how do we make sure we don't get into this? But I must be dense or missing something, because it is abundantly hard to sit in the audience today. Because for mistakes, and I hear like, oh, we spent so many hours and hours and hours. But where was that diligence before? And as we look at these teacher cuts, like you just change the livelihood of someone. And as I look around,
Some are really engaged, which I really appreciate. Other people are on their phone. Other people are space cadets. You just change the livelihood of someone. And then I hear all the different parents and they talk about, well, the level of bullying, the disciplinary actions. And I think, okay, so maybe they do hear those concerns and there's going to be an end to this. But then I think of the teachers that you just cut, one of which is on a school trip right now, that probably had to listen in to hear this decision. And you just cut them. And I think, well, if they're treating the teachers that way, how is that different than the students? And it's just really hard to hear this level of diligence and it's air high fives and we feel great about this and we're going to be so much better in the future for this, but it is abundantly hard to look at your faces and not feel angry that you all get to sit here, but other people don't. Other people, in terms of the teachers that you just cut, like with nothing. And I feel for the person that just was up here, and I appreciate your feedback, because what wasn't up for vote is your level of salaries to get cut. But you cut somebody else. And I find myself, as a resident of Sullivan County, I'm a guardian of 2 students in the school district, as to, okay, well, what does the plan ahead look like? And I don't know the answer. I hear, yes, we're looking at some things. The last time I was here, it was talking about, well, we're going to do all we can before we get to this point. Well, we're here at this point, so I think we've already exhausted. But then I hear, no, we're looking at this, we're looking at that. And it's confusing. I'm confused. So I don't know if I'm just missing it. But what does it mean for our future? Like, what does next year look like? For 2 students in the school district, I don't know what to say. And I feel like it doesn't matter. And that's a horrible spot to be in. So as much as I hear you guys agonize over the decisions, what's the call to action? What's the next step? I don't know what it is. I would love to see a plan put together of what you're going to instill to make sure this doesn't happen again, but I don't even know if that's even enough. So I guess it's really just to voice the level of frustration that it must be nice to make a mistake and someone else loses their job.
I just would like to point out that we do not get any salaries for being on the school board. I just want to say that I have spent many nights away from my children, agonizing over this, losing sleep over it.
Thank you. Next time.
You've got your chance to speak.
Good evening. My name is Harper Bailey. I'm here to discuss about behaviors and rewards kids get for hurting others. First thing I want to say is, why are kids getting rewarded for bad behaviors? My friend got choked out a few years ago, and the kid got rewarded by a snack and a trip to the gym to let their anger out. This is why people are going to CCA, because their parents don't want their children getting hurt and having their kid get yelled at. Meanwhile, the other kid get rewarded. There's a kid in a younger grade than I am who touches girls inappropriately, and then the girls tell on him. The girls get yelled at for doing the right thing instead of deciding to get touched inappropriately continuously. No one does anything to the kid besides give him a snack and gym time to let his anger out. Why are kids getting away with bullying and inappropriately touching, and when you're good, you get absolutely nothing? Most parents are concerned about other kids getting rewarded for their behavior. My mom said, if things continue this way, my mom said if things continue the way they are, she gave me the opportunity to go CCA. Thank you.
Okay, my name's Allie. I am the parent of my bunch back there. So I was on earlier and I was kind of nervous. When I talked to Sam Keller the other day, and I was one of the ones that spoke, I didn't hang up the phone. I left out every ounce of feeling, so you can listen a little bit here too. Let me correct what I said about my son. He was bullied a lot throughout his childhood in Sullivan County. We moved here from Toursville. We are not originally from Sullivan County. We have been here, we are going on 6 years. One of the biggest things I talked about with Sam Keller was engagement from your teachers, from your staff. I will say I shut down a lot of that. Dr. Swati, thank you. Because when I came to you about Lucas, you immediately jumped on, got him on the 504 plan, and then immediately switched him to the IEP when he needed it. Thank you. You were very much applauded in that situation. So no doubt, no shame to you at all about us going to CCA. It was just a better thing for Lucas at that time and for his growth. There is a teacher that was just let go. I'm not going to put him on blast, but he has molded my kids, Logan and Connor specifically. Okay, I might put him on blast. He's sitting in the same row. He literally molded my kids, molded them. When I told you about engagement, you remember we talked about those classes about the engagement, how kids are just tired and they're bored. My son's bored. In his class, he never was bored. The engagement was there. There's a couple teachers that are still here and that will still stay here that don't teach, and I've seen it. You just let go of a really good teacher, a really, really good teacher. And that hurts because that teacher right there, he really helped mold Connor, he helped mold Logan, and he helped mold multiple students in Sullivan County. Mr. Perry's new here, but that man has stood behind Connor through all his ups and downs. And if it wasn't for that man back there, I don't know where Connor would be today because he's helped support him so much. So I was very anxious earlier when I was talking, but I just wanted to give out those special recognitions that Dr. Swati, you did amazing for Lucas. And when we were talking about getting Connor an IEP, you immediately got right on it. So I do thank you for that. But I just had to give these teachers the credit they deserve because I'm telling you right now, that man, he's an amazing teacher, and he really is.
Thank you.
I'll only take a second. This was a comment I saved that wasn't on the agenda, and it's nice to be able to follow someone who had good things to say because that's the theme I'm going to continue with, even if however it is received. One comment I do feel compelled to offer stems from the picture I feel is being painted of our district as a den of bullying and bad behavior. That made my heart hurt. I'm from this district. See, it does upset me. Because although no school is perfect or free from those issues, I do not feel that's the overall climate of this district. I truly empathize with students and families who may be suffering any bullying behaviors. And I pray, I do, that those problems can be resolved swiftly and fairly for the sake of any child who is suffering. However, I feel I must stand up and say this. There are kind students here. There are caring teachers in the classrooms here, and there are administrators who work to make this place a safe place to learn every single day. The one suggestion I will leave is this. This is just a general rule of thumb in dealing with these situations. Instead of rushing to the highest levels to pursue punishment, no offense, Sam, work within the environment as a whole. Talk to the teachers in the classrooms. Reach out to the guidance counselors. Pursue conflict resolution, not just punishment. Yes, appropriate punishment is an ingredient in the solution, but it is not the end of the story. All individuals benefit when conflict resolution is a learned behavior, and our world will always thrive when compassion is combined with accountability.
Thank you.
My name is Holly Wise. I graduated from this school 46 years ago. I was bullied. There's always been bullies here. There's always going to be bullies here. The difference was we respected our teachers and the bullies were punished. In the last 10 years, the 3 bully gang that would push me against the locker and walk behind me going like this, my entire senior year, we've made peace. They lived a life, some good, some bad, but there's always going to be bullies. They were punished. The one person that was the worst, the police were called on. My daughters, 20 years old now, graduated here 2 years ago. They were bullied. One cybered her senior year, one didn't. I would never have cybered, even given the choice back then, because I don't learn that way. I need to be in a classroom with a teacher and a program that I'm following so I'm not distracted. Cindy cheated herself out of an education because she couldn't be here with that bully who to this day has not stopped bullying her. Drives by her house, takes images of her car, posts it on social media and asks, how does this little car carry around 2 fat cows? I in my heart truly believe, because he never answered to it, he thinks it's okay. My fault? I thought I was doing the right thing by coming to the school when this happened. One of my daughters was sexually harassed on the school bus to tech. There's video. I didn't watch it because I couldn't watch my daughter be called those names and things that were said about her. I know that the administration couldn't tell me what was going on, but the students did. Their punishment, and they laughed about it. They also, and I just talked to Erin about this, were told to write an apology letter and hand it to her. She said she had never been so humiliated in her whole life because now she's got people that said sexual things to her handing her stuff. They couldn't get to Erin a lot of the times. She was the good girl and she wasn't gonna fuck the system. She just sucked it up. Her sister's still affected. That being said, what I've heard tonight, the arts are gone from this school. In my life, I have used music. Professionally, I managed a restaurant. I used home ec. Professionally, I worked at a bank. I've used business. Professionally, I've used art in a lot of things. There are children, students, that do not excel in your standard classes. If I had been given algebra, and we had to take it, and I did not do well, I excelled in the arts and the creative stuff. And there are going to be many, many kids here that need some creative subject, and they're eliminated. So what happens to Sullivan County School? It is not the school that I went to. My children's experience is not what it was. I mean, of any of you sitting here, Hal was the only one that was there when I graduated. Some of you were probably not born, not even close. There's always going to be bullies. They have to be accountable. I still hate to think that my best thing is, I'm sorry, my mouth really dry, was to go to the police instead of the school. It should have been handled. It should have been handled here. And I have a daughter that blames me because I didn't stick up for her. Because it should have gone to the police. And then it would have taken it out of your hands. But then maybe those boys would have had legal problems for the rest of their lives. I was trying to consider the big story, but they were not held accountable, not from what I heard, but this is a small school. Everybody talks. I know what the punishment was. The girls knew what the punishment was. I mean, they got laughed at. So I'm just going to say, I know you're in a tough spot financially, but this school's not going to survive without the arts. So something's got to be done for future. Why would you want to come back here if you can't go to home ec or music, or there's no more band concerts, there's no more art shows, there's no more plays? That's pretty much my entire reason for going to school. And I think somebody had said something about the activity buses. I'm one of 7 children. I lived in Estella on Millview Mountain. If there hadn't been activity buses, we wouldn't have been in anything. I mean, my brothers were wrestlers. We were in sports or activities. The activity buses could bring us close to home. I mean, this is a rural community, and I mean, there was 1 car in my family with 9 people. So I'm all about, you've got to make room for all this stuff. That's got to be part of the budget. So that's it.
Thank you.
Where can residents get, it's Chris Brazel. Where can residents get copies of the policies of the school district?
They're on our website. If you go to the top banner where it says our district, and then click on the school board, and then it will be district policies. There's a heading for it.
And that's where you get all the policies?
Yes.
Including the policies addressing bullying?
Yes.
Is there a student handbook?
Yes.
Do these children have to sign that they read the student handbook and they will abide by those rules? Because that paperwork should be signed by the students and by their parents and sent back to school with all the emergency contact information. And then, when someone bullies, they should be expelled. Let that parent deal with that kid, and when they're able to come back and behave in an acceptable manner, deemed acceptable by the entire community, then let them back in school. It's really simple. The cyber school is going to continue. My question to you is, was the $1.9 million a shortfall from the 26-27 projected budget, or the 25-26 budget, or from the 24-25 one that you did audit?
26-27 when we first started the budget. 26-27 when we first started the budgeting process, that's where we landed at the 1.9.
So we're not yet aware of what the 25-26 shortfall is, are we?
We're working through that, not yet.
More to come. It is not going to go away. It is not going to get better. You can raise taxes 15% and you're still going to have the problem. When is it okay to bully? If I go online and say things about you that these kids are saying about each other, you would all but have a grand mal seizure. It's up to you, to the superintendent, to the principal, and to the teachers. Change it. And I really am personally offended when asked 2 weeks in a row how many kids were in cyber school, brick and mortar school, and other schools, and you personally said you couldn't recall those numbers in a setting like this. You want us to give you $19 million to handle? Would you do that if I told you that? I expect to see change, and I expect to see it by next year. Make their parents sign for their behavior, and then hold them accountable. It's not just our school district, it's the entire country. I was never afraid what would happen to me at school, but I was sure terrified of what would happen to me when I got home. We need to kind of go back to that direction. That's all.
Thank you. Not seeing any further public input. Again, just want to say thank you for those coming out to speak. Our next meeting is next month. If someone quote me the date, please, so I don't get it wrong.
June 16th is our committee meeting.
Thank you. June 16th is our next meeting here. Thank you very much. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.